I'm back for 2-round Tuesday, and there's nothing that can stop me from mock drafting. Oh crap, is that Mel Kiper? Oh look, disgruntled mock drafters! Oh, man, you wouldn't believe the nightmare I just had. What is coolin'? What's going on? I hope you guys are doing amazing. We got 2-round Tuesday today. I'm ready to go. We got the JETS. It's on the clock here at number 1 overall. I'm going quarterback, of course, right? I thought about different positions, and then I came back to myself and slapped myself. And that actually kind of hurt a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I was going to slap myself, but not that hard. I'm going to go to work today, get a big mark. You'll be like, what the heck did you do to yourself? I'm kicking my ass, TMI! Fernando Mendoza, the pick, quarterback from IU in Hoosier Nation right now. Let's go. Bloomington, I bet, is rocking. I live up north in Indiana, but this place has been crazy with Fernando Mendoza rocking out here in Indiana. Obviously, Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. It's been a wild trip. Now he comes over to New York and hopefully can turn around this franchise, be the Chad Pennington without the broken arms he went through, man. He got so many broken shoulders. So unfortunate. I loved Chad Pennington growing up, so maybe Mendoza can be that guy for us. On to the Tennessee Titans, the Titans of the industry. I'm going Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State. He's such a good player. And I think it's really a toss-up between him and Ruben Bain. And some people are going to say, look at some of the traits on Ruben Bain. Does he have the arm length? Does he have elite speed? No, but he's a great player. We're nitpicking at straws here. And I think Tyson is a fantastic pick, too. You got to go and get Cam Ward some help. Get him a weapon. On to the Saints at number 3. I'm going to go and take an edge rusher here named Ruben Bain. I was just talking about him a second ago. Well, this guy's still a very good football player. His best player available. I'm still undecided when it comes to the quarterback situation. We'll reevaluate things as it goes along. I think Spencer had maybe the worst game of the season this past week. Still nothing crazy. That Bears defense, they are stifling. I'm going to go grab a dominant pass rusher in here, even with Chase Young back into the line. He's actually put pretty well, too. Raiders, I'm not second-guessing myself here. I'm going quarterback, Dante Moore. They need more help with the quarterback room. And, hey, Geno Smith's contract, you can get out of that real quick. In this case scenario, though, Dante can be a developmental guy behind Geno Smith as you continue to develop the core talent on this roster. Fins up. Right now, the Fins are down. They're deep into the ocean. They need a monster there on that defense that can stop the run. Arvell Reese is that monster. He could even play edge for them. I don't care. Arvell Reese is that good of a football player. I considered taking him top 3. He's that good. He is literally the most dominant football player right now in college football. I think offensively or defensively. I mean, that's tough to say. There are some really good football players. I'm talking about draft-eligible prospects. I think Arvell Reese is definitely one of the, if not the most dominant player in college football right now. On to the Cleveland Browns. I am taking quarterback Ty Simpson. He is just, I think he's a good player, man. And it's when it comes down to it for the Browns, I still have to take a quarterback. I can't avoid it. This quarterback room, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, I just don't know what to do. Gabriel hasn't instilled a whole ton of confidence. I'm still full of fear and rage and things with the Browns and this organization and what they've done. However, it's not all on Gabriel or Shedeur. They got to build the roster. I get that. There's a lot of things they need to do, but Simpson has really come along after sitting and waiting his turn and what he's been able to do at Alabama this season. I'm taking that shot here at number 6 overall, and we'll build the roster with more picks later that they have in the draft. Arizona, do I go quarterback here? I am another area that it's considering quarterback, but with 3 quarterbacks off the board, I'm just going to go BPA, Mekhi Lemon. You can make the argument Carnell Tate. You can make Chris Bell as an argument here. Really good football players. Mekhi Lemon is also a very good football player. And I love the addition here of adding the new Trojan into this Arizona Cardinal team, what he brings to the table in the slot next to Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that'd be a great 1-2 punch. A punch. And then we're going on to some more fruit punch. Oh, yeah. Francis Maui Noah as we come in here going to the offensive line, one that I do all the time. I'm sorry, Giants fans. It's just such an easy pick. It's like protect your quarterback, make sure your Jackson Dart has help there with a good offensive line, plug him into right tackle. Even if you bring back Jermaine Illumina, put him at right guard, you can figure those things out. Maui Noah's been one of the best offensive linemen in football. Now we go on to the Saints. Just kidding. The Minnesota Vikings. Skull, skull, skull. You got to hit me on for that one. I can't believe I called you the Saints. They don't even look like the Saints. I am going to be taking a cornerback, Mansour Delane, the monsoon of corners in this class. He's been blanketing wide receivers, giving them the zeros all season long and giving them trouble. I think his passer rating against is like 22, something ridiculous. He's been fantastic. He's a smooth athlete, not an elite athlete, but a smooth one, and also can just play in man, can play in zone. He's very fluid all around. He has good instincts in zone. I think he's going to be a really nice addition here for Brian Flores as another outside cornerback to go with Murphy and Rodgers. And Rodgers is a free agent. Maybe gets paid elsewhere after this season. Bengals. Defensive line needs some help. I get it, but we're going to go ahead and Caleb Downs, who can be a playmaker in that back end. They also need help there in the secondary room. And you're saying to yourself, well, if we can't get any pressure, it just doesn't matter who we have. And it's true. But Caleb Downs is a fantastic football player. And I felt like, hey, let's go and get ourselves somebody in that secondary to be a long-term safety in the back end. Then we go on here to the Houston Texans, and we are going to be taking... Ooh, man, Jeremiah Love. An interesting pick, right? You're saying, well, we got Woody Marks, and Woody Marks a great player. I will say he's a good football player. What about our offensive line? Of course, their offensive line needs some help, but we can definitely address that a little bit more. They've invested a lot. Maybe free agency could be something too. Jeremiah Love is just such a fantastic player that I can't pass up, and I am in love. I'm loving him. He's just that good, man. He was unstoppable. Him and Jadarian Price are unstoppable in college football right now. Best 1-2 punch in college. On to the Carolina Panthers. I'm selecting David Bailey, another pick that I like and just seems like a perfect fit here for this football team to pair along with Nick Scourton. He had a little 1-2 punch there at the edge room. He's a great player. He is the toughest edge rusher to have to deal with in college football against tackles. Good luck against number 31 at Texas Tech. And hey, Romello Height too is another one that's you're going to see very soon. Commanders. Oh, wait. This is where the mock draft gets spicy. A little sauce, a little action going here. Carnell Tate, the wide receiver from the Ohio State University, is where we're going today with Carnell Tate, who he is on just a different atmosphere right now. I thought about going to him in Arizona's pick. Carnell Tate is just insane. He is unbelievable. He's got better speed than you would think. His route running has really come along this year. He catches everything. What else is there to say? He's a decent blocker, too. Very good football player. They've been so injured in this wide receiving room. While they have talent, I still think you go ahead and add yourself a young piece with Carnell Tate in here. Can't pass it up. Just can't pass it up. Their defense probably the biggest need, but Carnell Tate, he's got me locked in. The best offense is a better defense. Yes, that's the philosophy we're rolling with. On to the Rams. You're thinking, just okay, he's probably going to go with the quarterback. But, well, there's 3 quarterbacks off the board. Who's he going to go with? You know what? One of my favorite quarterbacks in this class, mind you be it. Brandon Sorsby, quarterback from Cincinnati. I love Sorsby so much to the point where I would consider taking him over a lot of the other guys. I think Mendoza is the one dude that I feel locked in that I would take there over all these other guys at the moment just because of the floor he brings. I don't know if he has the highest upside, but I think Mendoza is going to be a really solid football player. Sorsby has the top 5 traits. He's got those tools that you say to yourself, oh, that could be Josh Allen 2.0, little Patrick Mahomes going out there, Chris Collinsworth be saying. No, not quite there, but he's got a little similar build, I guess, in many ways. He's like 6'2", 6'3", 220 plus pounds, built really strong, can take some hits, great runner, great athlete, can escape pockets, and he's doing it a little bit more this season. I think his processor's been better. It's not perfect. It's definitely still his weakness. You can see his game, though, is more well-rounded this year. He's taking what the defense is giving him more, and he's also getting the ball out a little quicker as well. I think Sorsby's going to be talked about very soon. Just you wait. I know Sorsby right now is not being talked about all the time. I think it's coming. It's coming. I can feel it coming here really soon. On to the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going to take Peter Woods, defensive tackle, take the best available defensive lineman. We're calling it a day. That's all I need to talk about. Defensive line. On to the Cleveland Browns. I am going to be taking tackle Spencer Fanu. Fanu, please come on to the offensive line and save us. We need help on this offensive line. That's an easy slam dunk move here from the Jags pick. They have to improve the offensive line, right? We just got a quarterback too. Ty Simpson's going to need some help. We get Spencer Fanu to be a big addition here in this pick from the Jags. On to the Cowboys here. And also, I made a bit of a grammar mistake. The Browns were 16, Cowboys at 17 here. Clearly don't know my numbers. Need to go back to first grade or kindergarten even. It's going to be Kindergarten Cop. That's a great movie. Oh, man. No, it's not a Tuma. It's definitely not, because Jamal McCoy is going to help save this defense in this secondary for the Dallas Cowboys. They need some help there. And, yeah, let's go ahead and improve that secondary. Jamal McCoy is going to be a beast there for them to go along with Deron Bland. Oh, rocking it out. Bland, he's back. And you could get McCoy in there to help him out even more. Bears at number 18. Keldrick Falk. I almost said a different word, but Keldrick Falk is a really good football player. I got to be careful, man. This is a kid's show, right? Nah, we're PG. We're rated R today. Keldrick Falk's a heck of a football player. Great run defender, strong at the point of attack, can play across that defensive line. Go get yourself another beast on that defense. Then we go on to the Steelers. Quarterback time. It's Darian Mensah, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the draft. Just like Sorsby, I think Mensah's so underrated and not being talked about at all. What is going on? Mensah is a fantastic football player. He doesn't have an elite arm, cannon, or anything like that, but everything else he can do at a high level. He can read the field. He's accurate. He's mobile. Very good football player. I talk about him as comparing him to Jordan Love. That's who he reminds me of so much. Get your franchise quarterback right here with Darian Mensah. On to the Chargers. Bolts, we go at 20, and I am taking Cashius Howell. Thundercats, ho! Because Cashius Howell is going to definitely be a big impact for them. They need some help here. Look, this is something where I said it's like, yes, they did go out and trade for Adafiowe. I still want to ramp up the trenches even more. I think Howell's the best player, one of the best players available currently. And I'm not passing up on a guy like this. He's just been so dominant this season. And first, great competition, too. So I'm taking him here, locking in that edge talent, even if Adafiowe is re-signed. On to the Broncos, said the Browns. I'm so bad, man. It is terrible, but I can't even. I'm like looking at this logo. I'm like, it's coming to me. It's coming to me. I love football. Sonny Styles is the pick here. Man, I'm slapping myself hard today. Sonny Styles, though, I need to get some more sleep, clearly. Styles going to help out at that linebacking room. Singleton is a solid football player, but he just has a limitation in coverage. And I think Styles was going to give them more of a... You miss Dre Greenlaw. That's going to be a big impact when it comes to the coverage ability. But you add Sonny Styles, especially with Greenlaw at this point, I think Styles would be that boost, that extra lift into that defense to make it an even more elite defense. Let's go on to the 49ers here. I'm going to go and take Chris Bell in a little bit of a surprise move here. But I think Chris Bell is just an absolute nightmare to have to deal with. Saw him once again just destroying DBs. You get the ball in his hands, he will take it the distance. It doesn't matter if it's a drag, slant, you name it. Get the ball in his hands. He's so quick with just little get it to him. That's all you have to do, and he's going to take it the distance. Basically, Chris Bell is the 49er. Repetition, the core values and what they believe in here with Chris Bell. It just makes another playmaker in this offense. On it to the Seattle Seahawks here. I'm going A.J. Terrell, brother, Avion Terrell. Avion Terrell has been really good this season at Clemson and just continues to impress with his ball skills. He isn't the biggest guy. Could he get a little outmossed at times? Sure. But Terrell, I do like him a lot as just an overall corner that could play a little off, in the slot, play outside. I'm not worried about it here. You add another beast into Mike McDonald's defense right now, which is playing at an extremely high level. That defensive line is one of the scariest in football. Ooh, man, Nwosu had a great game. Lawrence had a great game. Maffe's great football player. They're stacked on that interior. You now add another beast in the secondary. Dallas, let's go ahead and add a surpriser. Caden Proctor. I think I've done this before, but it's a pick where if he's on the board, I'm taking him. And this offensive line just continues to get bigger, right? You just got Tyler Booker. Now you get his teammate last year, Caden Proctor, end up being the long-term right tackle. You don't have to force Terrence Steele out of here. Let Proctor develop. There's nothing wrong with having him as your swing tackle. And Proctor just is such a dominant run blocker. You bring back Javonte Williams, and you're going to keep this run game rolling, keep Dak Prescott protected. This offense would be insane. George Pickens back. Oh, man, that would be insanity on this offense. And we hopefully improve the defense with Jamal McCoy. On to the Bucs. And what are the Bucs? I'm going C.J. Allen. He's got tough shoes to fill here. Levante David, if he ends up retiring, that didn't make any sense, but my English isn't the greatest. That's another thing. I need to go back to preschool on that one. C.J. Allen going to be their future linebacker in here. Savache Dennis, not a bad player. Made some plays, especially around the football, and could be a good blitzer. But Allen adds another element into the room. On to the New England Patriots here. This pick, I'm taking Romello Height to get this defense to a new level, a new height.
Go all around. See what I'm saying?
Got to go ahead and continue to improve. Chason had a great week. It's one thing I will say. And I just still think they could use an edge rusher long-term, with the contracts and everything like that. And we'll see what they end up doing. But Romello Height could be a beast for them in the future. On to the future here with the Eagles, where I'm going to go and take Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. I think that Howie Roseman would be licking his chops to find a guy like Kenyon Sadiq, another big-time weapon in this offense for Jalen Hurts, a guy with yak ability and a surprisingly good blocker, especially for his size. I think that doesn't get talked about enough. He's a pretty fantastic blocker and somebody that will certainly help them out in both phases of the game, whether they're doing power or using him as a receiving threat. He can do it all. Sadiq is a beast. On the Bills, I'm going to go ahead and take Chase Bisontes. I know this is a rinse and repeat pick for me, but I am such a big fan of Chase Bisontes. I think he's one of the best pass protectors in the draft class. He's got great length. He's got good size. There's just not a ton of weaknesses to his game. And other than maybe a little bit in the run game, he's not the most balanced, I guess. That's the one knock I would see on his film. Overall, it's not the worst thing. It's not like he can't open up lanes. He's not the biggest guy when it comes to destroying dudes. He's not going to pancake guys consistently. I think he'd be a great David Edwards replacement if they lose him in free agents, because he's going to get some chunks of money. Money. On to the Rams. Back on the clock. I'm going Caleb Lomu after Brendan Sorsby. Let's be able to protect Sorsby, something that they still need to protect Stafford, and Lomu's going to be an impact right away at right tackle. I like Lomu a lot. I get it. Maybe it's not the season. Him or Spencer Fanu have not had the season they were looking for. I actually really like Lomu. I may even like Lomu a little more than Fanu. I'll be real. I like Lomu a lot. And he could be a great right tackle for them, replacement for Rob Havenstein. If nothing else, even if you want to bring back Havenstein for another season, Lomu could sit and be a developmental guy. I have no problem with that. I just think Lomu would be an instant impact for this football team. And I think he's going to be better than maybe, where he's at right now in the rankings. I like him. I really do. I think he's a top 15 player for me at the moment. On to the Chiefs. I'm going to go take LT Overton, another guy who I just think is going to be a very good football player in a draft class where you may say, some of the talent, who's going to be, where, what kind of floor do we got? I think LT Overton has a really high floor, and he's just so strong at the point of attack. He's a consistent shedder. He isn't the most dynamic athlete. I just think he fits a spag mold, too, of the type of dude that can set the edge, be that strong dude there to go along with George Karlaftis, the bull himself, and continue to help out the pass rush and the defensive line. Next pick here for the Colts at 31. I'm going to go take Caleb Tiernan. He's going to be the right tackle of the future here for them. They did invest in Jalen Travis. He's played a little bit this season too. However, I think Tiernan would be a great football player. Been watching him lately. He's been really good this season at left tackle. There is the whole question of, does he move over to right tackle? And changing guys is never easy. It's always a little bit suspect. And yeah, I'll be real with that. But at the end of the day, I think that Tiernan is a very good blocker. I think he can stick a tackle. I'm not moving him inside the guard, especially for the Colts, who can utilize those tight ends to chip and stuff like that. In this scheme, Tiernan would be an absolute beast combination. there with the Rain Man. On to not second round yet, the Detroit Lions. Sorry, I'm not forgetting about you guys, Detroit. We're taking an edge rusher, TJ Parker from Clemson. He's got a lot of tools. I don't doubt that. I'm still a little lower on TJ Parker, hence why he's here at number 32 overall. But you pair him up with Aiden Hutchinson as your 1-2 punch. I'm rocking. I'm rocking with this one. They've got some production out there right now. You know, Muhammad's been playing well. I still would like to add in that long-term piece here. And TJ Parker, to me, makes a lot of sense to be that 1-2 punch with A.T.H. Hutchinson. Hutchinson is the monster. And now you add in Parker. Parker and Hutchinson, it sounds like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man coming in here with TJ Parker, spitting up webs everywhere on opposing offensive linemen. On to round number 2 we go. Jets, Jets back on the clock. I'm going Kamari Ramsey. Another one of these guys in this draft class, any draft class, I think he's a great football player and a super underrated football player too. Ramsey, he just doesn't miss a whole ton of assignments. And for this Jets football team, if you've watched any Jets games this year, trust me, miss assignments is a common theme for this football team. I'm taking Ramsey. That's an easy pick for me. On to the Titans' second round pick. I'm going to take Anto Saka, the sack artist there at Northwestern. Is he a little bit of a liability in run defense? Possibly. He's not that. But I think he's going to be an amazing pass rusher for them with Harold Landry, Draymond Jones being free agents. They could use help. And I'm going to go instill that help here with Saka. I think his traits are going to get talked about so much when we get into the offseason. Just you wait. When he gets that invite to the Senior Bowl, when he gets that combine invite, he's going to probably run 4.5 flat, 4.4 maybe even. Really good athlete with big time juice off the edge. Then we go to the New Orleans Saints here at pick 35. I'm going to go and take Jeremy Bernard, add another playmaker. We add in a beast off the edge of Ruma Bain. Now we're adding a playmaker in here for Spencer Rattler. Jeremy Bernard is going to help out, especially if you move on from Shaheed or trade Olave. Either which way, even if they bring back both of those guys, let's add a third weapon with the amount of injuries that they've had. I think Bernard would be a really steady Eddie for Rattler and be a nice, slot outside weapon that can utilize interchangeably too, and somebody that will definitely help out for sure on this offense. Then we go on to the Raiders here, where I'm going to go get some help on the defensive line. Caden McDonald, EIEIO, definitely helps out this defensive line. They need some more youth on their interior, and McDonald has been really good for the Buckeyes. They've continued to develop these interior players. Here's the next guy in line, McDonald. Is really forceful at the point of attack. He's a great run defender, and he's got a little bit more juice than you would expect as a pass rusher. He's not going to be the most dynamic pass rusher, but he is going to help out your linebackers and help out this run defense even more too, and get Max Crosby some more help off the edge. Of course, it's still a need, but for right now, Katie McDonald going to add a big piece to that defensive line. There's a lot of areas they could go. I'll be honest. Wide receiver, corner, linebacker, anywhere, right? Anywhere. BPA. On to the Miami Dolphins here. I am taking offensive line Cade Piper. The Piper has been going on long enough. It's time to pick the Peter Piper's pepper, and we are going to piper up the offensive line with the Pipers and the puns and all those sort of things. But seriously, they need help on the offensive line. He's going to be a day one starter. I went to go watch Jennings Dunker a few weeks back, and I just couldn't take my eyes off of Cade Piper there out of Iowa. Really good football player there, right guard. Definitely recommend watching him. He is a young football player. He's only 20 years old right now. He would turn 21 in February, I believe. So, yeah, there's that. He's a guy that may kind of coming back and need a first-round pick next year. He is super talented. He's a good athlete. That wide zone system that Iowa deploys, he is front and center there, and he's been fantastic this year. He is a great pass protector too. On to the Cleveland Browns here. I'm taking wide receiver Denzel Boston. We must add help here now for your new quarterback. And with Dylan Gabriel, you got to help your quarterback out. And I think that Boston offensive line that we've gone is going to be instrumental. So Fanu, Boston, and Bain is going to be your three group. And if you don't go quarterback, right, then help out these new quarterbacks, either Shador or Dylan Gabriel, with a guy like Boston with offensive line helping Fanu, and then do defense. We get her that Myles Garrett and Ruben Bain, and Isaiah McGuire, if Alex Wright comes back, then it's an unstoppable team. If Gabriel, then you'll know, right? You'll have an ability to say, okay, do we have a franchise quarterback with either Gabriel or Shedeur at that point? And if not, then you draft the quarterback. So there's plenty of arguments to be had. And I respect both. There's too many ways to look at it right now. And it is too early. I want to continue to see how Dylan Gabriel comes along or Shedeur Sanders. On the Cardinals here with their second round pick, I'm going to go ahead and take an offensive tackle, Trevor Goosby. Yeah, I'm a little lower on Trevor Goosby. I still think his balance and his overall foot quickness or his lateral foot quickness isn't as good as maybe what I would like it. But man, he's got great length. He's got great strength. I mean, yes, he's explosive athlete. I just worry a little bit about that lateral agility, that redirect speed at tackle. You need to have that redirect speed. And guys like Evan Neal, you say to yourself, okay, do they have the redirect speed? No. And that is something I do worry about. I mean, he's not as bad as Evan Neal and his redirect speed, but it is something I've noticed with Goosby. Now, with that being said, he's a good football player, and I definitely feel confident taking a chance on him here to be the long-term right tackle for this football team. They took Christian Jones, who's still waiting in the wing. Maybe he could be a guy too. However, Goosby definitely has a lot of talent here. I'm going to take a chance to replace Jonah Williams at right tackle. On to the Giants at number 40, and I am going to take a linebacker, Jake Golday from Cincinnati. I watch a lot of Brandon Sorsby. I watch a lot of this Cincinnati Bearcat team, and this is a guy that I just cannot take my eyes off of as well. He just continues to pop. He plays a little overhang roll over there, plays over the slot, plays a little online too, but he has been a tackle machine. He's been a playmaker too. He's not like incapable in coverage either. He's been solid, and his overall instincts in coverage are decent. I think he can cover tight ends. He's not going to be able to maybe cover the Brock Bowers of the world, but who can really do that? And he might have to put a safety on Brock Bowers, maybe even a corner. I think Golday is going to be a good football player to pair up here with either Okereke or McFadden, whether they bring back just one of those guys or if they want to just develop Golday for a season. However they want to do that, I just think Golday is a really good football player, great linebacker. On to the Vikings, back on the clock. I got it right this time. I know. We're going to be taking edge rusher Mateo Uiagalelei. Maybe this is a little bit of a future-looking pick. Daniil Hunter, with some of the injuries and stuff like that, they need some depth, and Mateo Uiagalelei can give them that and be the future to go along with Will Anderson in that edge room. Bengals here. I'm going to take 42. Drew Shelton. I'm trying not to mess up names right now. I don't know what's going on out here, but Drew Shelton, the tackle at Penn State, I think he's an underrated offensive lineman in the country right now. And yes, that Penn State team is a little bit in disarray. However, Shelton, Ione have been very, very solid on that offensive line. Shelton is a guy that I think has solid lateral agility, good redirect speed, good hand punch, good fighting, good technique. Continue to work a little bit better on the placement. Sometimes he can get a little over with his shoulders off balance a bit, but in general, I think he's a really good offensive lineman with the lateral movement quickness that you look for, whether he wants to move inside a guard early on and could, start over at right guard for them, or, hey, they could just figure it out, right? Be that left tackle of the future if you want to keep Orlando Brown for another season. I would just say at this point, I think Shelton could even be an upgrade for them. That would be a competition you have in training camp, and you could move on from Orlando Brown or even trade him, however that may go. But Shelton going to improve the offensive line, period. Houston, the Texans, I'm going to take Connor Lew, offensive line. I said earlier, hey, we can go offensive line here in the second. We improve that with Connor Lew right here. He's going to be a day one starter for them at center. Jake Andrews, you could bring him back and try him at guard. He's probably only a center guy, but either which way, I'm just trying to improve the offensive line. Connor Lew can do that. And with Jeremiah Love and this run game, what you could have here and the weapons you have on the outside, get fully healthy. Tank Dell, Jalen Noel had a great game last night, and maybe Jade Higgins takes another step. They could be in a really good position from an offensive standpoint. Their defense is not the problem. They can win games from their defense. And you get Connor Lew in here. Let's ramp up that offensive line some more. Carolina at 44. I'm going to go and take cornerback Jermaine Matthews. He's been excellent this year for the Buckeyes. And you add yourself in a guy that could play in the slot day one with J.C. Horn and Mike Jackson. And he could also play on the outside for this team. He has experience on the inside and on the outside. He's got good enough length to play on the outside, good enough speed as well. I'm not worried about that sort of thing, but he definitely is going to help out this secondary some more, even though it was great versus the Jets this week. Next pick here for the Houston Texans. This one's from Washington, and going to surprise some people here. I'm going cornerback. Keith Abney, you have one of the best cornerback duos right in the NFL. I mean, I will say maybe did a little bit of a step back this season. Stingley had to do, still been really good, and so's Laster and everything like that. Stingley had a pick this week. However, I think, hey, why not add Abney in here, and you could move Laster into the slot possibly, or Abney in the slot. Put Petrie up at safety to go along with Bullock, and have that as your little secondary, little icing cherry on top. I'm just saying, Abney's the best player available at this point in my eyes. And I'm not passing up a guy as talented as him. Yeah, they did invest in last year in Jalen Smith right from USC, so maybe he'll play a bigger role next season. Overall, kind of one of those things where experimenting, exploring different possibilities, right? I think he is a great football player and would be one of those guys you add in the Sun Devil. On to the Atlanta Falcons here. 46. Where are we going? I'm going tackle. Isaiah World. They need some help at right tackle with the injuries. Elijah Wilkerson has single-handedly really struggled. I'll be just real. And I get it. He's a backup. He's a solid, backup to have. However, they could use an upgrade there. And I think that Isaiah World could be the developmental piece behind Caleb McGarry. Hey, they just need more depth at the tackle position, clearly. So Isaiah World is a bit of a developmental guy, and you could let him develop for a couple seasons behind Caleb McGarry, or at least one season with McGarry's injury and everything like that. They need more help at tackle. Jake Matthews getting a little bit older now. He is under contract and everything like that. So it's not like, I guess, the top priority. You could just go out and sign a free agent, better backup. However, I just think that they need a little more youth in this tackle room, and making sure you protect your quarterback and Michael Penix is such a big priority here. On to the Baltimore Ravens here with next pick at 47. I'm going Vega Ione from Penn State, the offensive guard, the left guard. Let him start at one of those guard positions. I do want to improve the offensive line for the Ravens. It's been a problem this season. So continuing to invest in the offensive line is something I think the Ravens need to do this offseason. So we're going to go add in the big fella there at Penn State, who's been a rock. He's been a monster in the run game and in pass pro. Jags, 48, their first pick of the draft. I'm going Caleb Banks, another BPA pick. He's just the injury thing. If he wasn't injured, then I would have him as a top 15 lock in this draft class. It just comes down to that foot, how the medicals get cleared or they don't get cleared. He could end up dropping surprisingly into day 3 if they don't get cleared. Overall, Mason Smith hasn't really worked down that defensive line. Devon Hamilton's been a good football player, and so has Eric Armstead. He's really been their most disruptive guy. He's getting a little bit older now. Hamilton's had some injuries and stuff like that. I think Banks would add another juice magnet onto their defensive line, which, honestly, they need more pressure, and Banks would do that. Even Josh Hines-Allen hasn't had the biggest season, especially without Walker. Like, Walker really helps the defensive line out a lot, too. So I just want to try to add in the best impact onto this defense, and I think Banks can do that. Next pick, I'm going for the Cowboys here. I'm going to take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. He is a dude that is going to continue to rise up boards as we get closer to the draft. A very instinctual safety that just makes plays, whether it's interceptions. As a tackler, he's a big hitter. He's got big-time size. He's a fluid athlete for his size. He's just over 6'2" range. We'll see what those official measurements come in, but my guess is somewhere around 6'2", maybe like 6'1", 5/8". I don't know. Mostly that's, just totally out of there, but maybe 6'2" something. Really good football player to add into that secondary that we just continue to revamp here with Jamal McCoy. Then we go on to the Bears here at 50, where I am going to select inside linebacker Terrence Carter, the best run defender in the draft. I said he is, other than Arvell Reese, because Arvell Reese, I kind of even conclude, into an edge room maybe even, but Terrence Carter just is dominant as a run defender there at Texas Tech. And when you watch guys on that defense, yeah, you got some good dudes on that defense line to help out Carter, but Carter makes plays consistently in that defense. He forces fumbles, probably better than any linebacker in college football, or even, when you come to the NFL. This guy is going to be a turnover magnet. So the Bears go get their Jack Campbell here for Ben Johnson in this defense. That's what I'm rocking with Terrence Carter. Now we go on to the 49ers here at 51, where I'm going to select Jude. Hey, Jude Bowery. That's not how the song goes, but Jude Bowery will definitely be the developmental left tackle of the future behind Trent Williams. I think Bowery's got great athleticism. He's got good length. Really, all the tools are there with Bowery. Just needs to continue to develop his technique and get stronger. That's really the thing here. So give him a season to develop behind Trent Williams and could be that future left tackle. Now we go on to the Steelers at 52, where we got our quarterback and Darian Mensah. I'm going to get some help in that secondary. Chris Johnson, the corner from San Diego State. He's been unbelievable. Oh my gosh. He's a really smooth, athletic corner as well. Not an insane athlete, but a very good athlete that's as well-rounded in his game, can go and line up a press technique, is good with his press, and overall, I think he's got the instincts to win. They need some more youth in the secondary. And that's why I'm going to go and take a corner here on Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson. He's got getting away from the cup speed. No, I didn't quite have that, but it's a different Chris Johnson. On to the Bolts here at 53, where I am going to take Ipani Laulu from Oregon. Just kind of seems like a Greg Roman style of offensive lineman. He can be the Bradley Boozman replacement there and continue to invest in the offensive line because it's been a big weakness here for this football team. And it's going to help out Justin Herbert finding that center of the future that they can grow with. I always say center is an underrated position, man. On to the Denver Broncos. I am going to be taking a center as well, and I'm going to take Parker Brailsford. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the draft. Parker Brailsford, the tape doesn't lie. He is such a good football player. And Brailsford is a guy where I just think that people need to kind of avoid looking at the traits a little bit, right? Like, oh, he's gonna be like 6'1" and 290 pounds. Can he play center in the NFL? Yes, he can. He's strong enough to be able to hold up versus SEC competition. He's a really fluid mover, very athletic getting to the second level. He just destroys guys with his leverage. He is such a good offensive lineman. I wouldn't put in first round. I'm just avoiding it because of some of the traits, but simply put, I think his tape, especially in this draft class, he's going to be a top 25 player in the draft for me when it's all said and done. I think Brailsford is that good of a football player. We find our Luke Wattenberg replacement here if he goes in free agency and they want to get a little younger. Brailsford can be that guy. On to the Seattle Seahawks here. I would have gone Brailsford, I'm not going to lie. However, we're going to go with a different route. We're going Waffle House. Elijah Surratt. He's been so good. Hey, Omar Cooper could be this pick too. Cooper's been fantastic there at IU. Hey, Cooper. People are going to debate whether or not Cooper is going to be a more NFL draft prospect. I think Surratt's fantastic. He just catches catches most passes that come his way. He can continue to work on the contested catch stuff. I still think he's very good, especially with those back shoulders, him and Fernando Mendoza. Darnold, I think he's going to have great chemistry with him when it comes to those sort of things and the back shoulders. And Elijah Surratt could be their long-term replacement here because, look, I still look at the contracts and everything like that, and Cooper Kupp is under contract, but he could be like that fourth guy because their depth right now, Jake Bobo is not bad, but could they use some more help there, some more depth? Absolutely. With the injuries that Cooper Kupp has had and stuff like that, and maybe you want to let him be more of a rotational player at some point, Surratt can be a really good fourth wide receiver to go along with Torrey Horton and Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's maybe the best receiver in football right now. On to the Green Bay Packers at 56, and I'm going to take interior defense lineman Amari Washington. Ooh, it's bright. It's really bright. Blinding me here. But Amari Washington, continue to beef up the trenches here with guys like Colby Wooden. And I think that this is Devontae White, of course. I'm sure they'll pay him and everything. But Washington can be another beast with his traits. He needs to get better with his leverage. They could probably use maybe more of a run defending style of guy on this interior defense line. So maybe like a big citrus type of pick. Dominic Orange would be type of player they could look at here too. However, Washington with those traits, maybe he comes back and ends up being a first-round pick next year. The length, he's got like 35-inch plus arms. He's an explosive athlete. He's like consistently the first guy off that defense line at Oregon. Really interesting football player that if he can develop, he could be an absolute beast. And Green Bay is prone to taking these guys with those elite traits. Then we go on to the Bucs at 57 after a tough loss. And I will say Seattle's defense, once again, they played a heck of Detroit's defense, Seattle's defense, Detroit's defense played so good. Oh my gosh, their secondary, like Whiteside, You had what's his name, Howlett playing really. Eric Howlett, who also played really good. They just kind of shut down this. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. Unfortunately, Chris Godwin still dealing with injuries and stuff. Of course, even Emeka Buka's coming back, and then you had the clavicle with Evans. Plus, he got a concussion. Like, that was just the icing on the cake. It's just crazy right now for Tampa Bay. I'm going to add in a pass rusher, though. With that all being said, Zion Young, he's going to add some energy into this defense and be just another beast up in that defensive line for Todd Bowles. And I know the hot mic thing's it's going viral and everything for good reason, but the strictly on film, this guy's a juiced up pass rusher that's got some good size. Now we go on to the Patriots at 58, where I am going to be selecting Zakee Wheatley, the safety from Penn State. He's been a really, really good football player, and Penn State players are it's tough because right now this season, the way it's gone, but Zakee has been a very consistent player week in and week out, and he's been very, very good, whether it's coming downhill, playing single high. He can do it all. There's just not a whole ton that he can't really do, I feel like. He's a very fluid mover, too. So let's go ahead and pair him up in that secondary for the long haul. You get yourself that 1-2 punch in there with Craig Woodson. Now we go on to 59. The Eagles flying in here with their edge rusher pick, Joshua Joseph. They did just agree to Brandon Graham coming back. Tells me they want some more edge talent in here. So Joshua Joseph's will be this pick. I think he'll fit that scheme very, very nicely. And Vic Fangio, a guy that has the ability to drop back into coverage if need be, but he's going to really impact them as a pass rusher. He didn't have his best game versus Caden Proctor, but Proctor also had one of his better games in college football, just kind of locking things down at left tackle. I'm telling you, Proctor's a good football player, but Josephs is also a very good football player. On to the Buffalo Bills at 60, and I am going to go and take a safety here, A.J. Halsey from LSU. He's been a consistent presence in that back end for this football team. He's a playmaker going back to his Houston days. And solid athlete, not an elite athlete, but a solid athlete. Could be a great combo with Cole Bishop as that playmaker that they could really use in that secondary. Now we move on to the Rams, where I am going to take Will Lee III, who falls right into our lap here. I am higher on Will Lee than this. Just kind of fell down the board with some other corners and stuff like that, or positions that went here and there. And Will Lee is going to just be that outside cornerback that they need with some size to be an eventual Ahkello Witherspoon replacement. They've been keep bringing Witherspoon back, and for good reason. Witherspoon's a good player. He's been a little banged up at times through his career, but Will Lee will be that long-term dog. He's got some mental traits you cannot teach. He really does, especially as a cornerback. Sometimes you just love I love these type of guys with these cornerbacks. And Will Lee definitely has enough athleticism to get it done, I'd say. Not an elite athlete, but definitely a solid enough athlete where he's just so physical. On to the Kansas City Chiefs here at 62 now. We talk about Jeremiah Love, Air Love as I like to call him, but what about Jadarian Price? The price is right with Jadarian. Oh my gosh, he's got some explosiveness. He hits the lane and he is just, boom, he's an electric explosion. And that is what the Chiefs could use, right? They could use a running back that can maybe get more yards than Patrick Mahomes. Look, that's nothing wrong with that, but they could use a full-time or workhorse. Yeah, he's going to get better in pass pro as a receiving back. They can teach that up. Maybe you can do a little Kareem Hunt action for this football team. And he's an explosive return man too, okay? So you can get yourself a return guy as well. They're pretty good in that department. But right now we go on to 63, the Colts. I'm taking linebacker Anthony Hill Jr. Hook 'em horns. We go and get that 1-2 punch with Jair Franklin, give them some much-needed linebacker help and more defensive help. That is just going to continue to bolster this talented Colt football team. Now, final pick of the draft. Let's make it a doozy for the Detroit Lions. And this is a guy I've been hearing a lot about. And so it was one of those things where I had to just turn on the film immediately and go watch this guy. Austin Searfeld. I'm sure Marcus Friedman has a thing or two. But, anyway, Searfeld is a guy where I watched him and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what the Detroit Lions are looking for in an offensive lineman. And certain teams too, but Searfeld is a guy that it just knows his angles in the run game as good as anybody in the college football right now. In college, I said the college football, like the Ohio State University, of course, but Searfeld has that ability to just kind of turn guys with his torque and his arms. He's got decent enough length where I think teams could see this guy as a tackle. Some people are going to put him as a guard. I don't know, right? I do think he could be their long-term Taylor Decker replacement. It's definitely something I would say is within a realm of possibilities. I don't think he's got like a complete lack of foot speed. Doesn't have elite speed when it comes to that sort of thing, but he's not like incapable of lateral quickness and stuff like that. So Sierfeld's a guy where, hey, find the best spot for him, whether it's at guard or as your long-term tackle. They could just give them depth right away. That's kind of the way I'm looking at this. Just continuing to improve the offensive line, and Sierfeld is just one of those guys that I think fits their mold of offensive lineman that they look for. Man, Ratledge and Panesul were incredible this game. I mean, just go watch those duo. That was insane alone. That was high. I could have given them the MVP this week. Really were fantastic. That's going to finish up the mock draft, though. Let me know what you think, agree or disagree. What would you do differently? I hope you guys have a really good day, man. Lot of fun. We're going to be back with some prospect breaking downs and things like that. So let's bring it on.